Welcome to Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth, Season 1, Episode 3. You know, after our first 2 episodes, we've gotten a lot of good feedback, and I certainly appreciate everyone chiming in and letting us know how we're doing.
It's a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun already. We're talking some baseball. We're talking about the league, and it's good to know that people are liking what they're hearing. That's good.
Now, from our perspective, some little things we need to clean up.
Yeah.
And we know we're working on some of the audio issues, and we're working on someone getting closer to their microphone.
Or I can be here. I can go left, but no, we're getting that down. Okay.
So there's player development, and then there's podcast development, and we're trying to nail down the podcast development.
Microphone training. I'm right here. All right, we're good.
You know, Jeremy, looking at this team, 18-10 as we record this on Sunday, April 29th, does this team feel like a team that is playing its best baseball?
They're not playing their best baseball. You can't be dissatisfied with 18-10.
This is a good start.
Yeah, it's a good start, and they're first place in the division. They've overtaken Anaheim. There's a lot of things to like. The rotation, I think, has obviously been the bright spot.
Oh, without
to
a
this
doubt.
point. But they're not doing what they can, which is also it's a little concerning a month in. But it's also scary. Imagine how good this team can really be. So it's gonna be interesting to watch.
I agree. I don't think they're playing their best baseball. I think that AJ would say they're not playing their best baseball,
no doubt.
but you've seen the glimpses of what this team can do. Is certainly with that starting rotation and how basically start in and start out, one guy to the next with a couple of little hiccups here and there. They're showing why this is the best staff in baseball and perhaps one of the better staffs we've seen in some time.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I mean, Garrett Cole has come in again in the 4th spot, and McCullers had a pretty good day yesterday, and Keuchel seems to have found his form back, and Verlander's Verlander.
Although Keuchel did have a little bit of a rough start his last time out.
Sure.
He was perfect for the first 3 innings, I believe.
Look, yeah, absolutely. But look at it this way. If Keuchel ultimately pitches like your 4, and he's in the 2 spot, it doesn't really matter because Morton's pitching like a 3. Right? So you've got Morton, and you've got Cole, and you've got Verlander, and you've got McCullers, and oh by the way, Dallas Keuchel. We're doing okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they all click. And the interesting part of where they are in their careers, Jay, is that they're in their primes. These guys are all in the prime of their careers, so their best baseball can still be ahead of them.
It's funny. I was looking at how this team was looking at this time last year on April 29th. If I have this correct, they were 15-9.
Yeah, so they're playing better baseball.
They're playing better baseball, but it's interesting to kind of run down where these guys were at this point last year. George Springer was hitting .217 with an OPS of .780, and right now Springer is at .257, .794, so he's doing better.
He's doing better.
Josh Reddick at this time last year, .310, .783 OPS. Reddick right now is at .250 with an .839, though. Has had a couple of grand slams.
Is that more consistent with what he's done before last year?
I'd have to look that up.
I mean, Josh is good against right-handers, right? And they do a good job here with him, platooning him and Marisnik, moving guys around. But okay,
and Marwin last year at this time, he's off to a slow start, but he had a slow start last year. He was at 200 at this point. Altuve is Altuve, 318 with an 869 OPS last year. He's better, 351, 862. So batting average better, OPS right about the same mark. One guy who's really stepped it up and off to a really solid start is Carlos Correa.
Is that right?
Because last year at this time, Correa was batting .220.
Ouch.
And now he is at .333. He's got 4 homers, 20 runs driven in. Last year, his OPS at this time was .630, and right now he's at .942. So clearly, Carlos Correa is in a much better position. This is interesting. At this time last year, who is one of the Astros' most productive hitters and one of their leading hitters batting average-wise? You will never get this. I guarantee you will never get this. This year, this time last year, 2017, who is one of the Astros' best hitters?
Jake Marisnik.
Nope. I'll give you 3 guesses because I don't want to keep people waiting.
Brian McCann.
Nope.
Carlos Beltran.
All right, nope. Nori Aoki.
Who?
Nori Aoki was hitting .321
Wow.
and with a .771 OPS.
He was DFA'd.
No, and he was one of your best hitters at this time last year. That's
amazing.
just crazy to think.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's Wow, you're right. I would not have guessed it, and in fact, I didn't guess it. But I do think that it's a good sign for these guys that are here.
And
Absolutely.
one guy who was off to a really hot start last year was Gurriel. He was hitting 342, 859 OPS at this time last year. So
do we forget about him? When you start naming this lineup out, right? I mean, who do you remember? You know, Altuve's Altuve, like you said. Correa is doing what Correa should do in progression, although that's a pretty big jump, right, year to year. Who do you forget? Who's Mr. Forgotten on the lineup every time you go through it?
Well, it's got to be Gurriel.
Yeah, right. I mean,
it's got to be Gurriel.
Got to be.
Because Springer is always talked about. Springer right now leads the team in homers.
Sure.
Excuse me, Reddick leads the team in homers. Springer is second with 5, Reddick with 6. McCann is off to a good start, and what they've gotten out of Stassi, they've got to be happy with what they've gotten out of Stassi. And I know that over the course of 162 games, you're not totally in love with Max Stassi as a guy who will get a lot of games. Talk about more from last year to this year. Last year at this time, Lance McCullers, and I just did ERA, 4.08. And this year, you look at the start he had yesterday. Charlie Morton last year at this time was 2-2 with a 4.50 ERA.
Right.
Devo was Devo. Devo was at 1.96. So again, you know, it doesn't feel like the Astros have hit their stride. But when you look at, for the most part, compared to last year, I think they're ahead of the curve.
Is Morton leading the league still?
No, he had a rough start. So Jeremy was on vacation out of the continental United States. So you missed a little bit what was going on. But Morton walked 5. Had 5 walks in the game against Ohtani. So
wow,
that was not one of his better starts.
It actually hasn't been. Charlie Morton has been the last 18 months. If you think about it, right?
Exactly.
It's not who he's been recently. So. You know, I did see McCullers yesterday. Cole was 6 2/3 before they pulled him today. You know, Charlie Morton for me is up until, and I said it last time, and I'll say it again, up until you know, he's been wishing and hoping his on the mound, and now he's dominant, right? Now he's dominant. Certainly 2 times through the lineup, so 5 walks is uncharacteristic. But again, guys have uncharacteristic starts and uncharacteristic games, and we're getting, you know, more to what they're going to be. And Charlie Morton's taking the World Series and run with it.
So right now, Morton is 3-0, 1.86, and that ERA is 5th in 5th.
You know, when we last.
So you know what? Listen. The Astros will still take that 35 strikeouts in 29 innings. They'll
out of your 5 spot.
Out of your 5 spot. And Ohtani, Ohtani was at Minute Maid. Hit 101. That was the fastest velocity velo recorded this year by a starting pitcher. Showed Ohtani-like stuff at times, but he also did not have a good rhythm either.
Yeah, he had a start before that was a little bit questionable.
The Red Sox against the Red Sox.
And he had a blister on his hand.
And they're wondering if that may have played a role in this start against the Astros as well.
Either way, he then goes out the next night and hits a 97-mile-an-hour fastball out to right, just turns on it like it's his job. So it's you know, he's interesting to watch. He's human. Yeah, we know he's human now. We know he has some issues, and he's gonna, you know, but he's gonna. The Angels, it's funny because they got Trout, and then we talked about Pujols. They've got some depth in the roster, Kinsler and Andrelton Simmons and stuff like that. But Ohtani's really been, you know, he's been what they've needed. They are very much a threat. Yeah, very much a threat. I don't think Seattle is a threat at all. I don't think Oakland, even though they're in town right now, I think they're a threat at all. And the Rangers are doing what we thought the Rangers would do. You know, and around the divisions, you know, in the league, it's kind of shaping up the way it's supposed to be. But, you know, Ohtani we're going to find out. We talked about last time about his ability and how he's been trained and doing this and versus other players in the past that have done it. It's going to be interesting to see what he does the entire time throughout the year, because now he's had a month. And now he's had, 5 starts? 5 starts, and he's been playing every day when he hasn't been hitting, or pitching.
For the most part.
So, you know, he's probably got, 120 bats? So we'll find out.
The Astros, the Yankees coming up.
Fun.
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun. The Yankees have turned it around.
They have turned it around. I mean, they have what it takes, certainly, to overtake Boston in that American League East.
Do you think they will? Because we talked about before the season. We talked about, and I said the Yankees, and you said Cleveland, and neither one of us said the Red Sox. Now they're good, but neither one of us said the Red Sox. Do you think they're going to come back from this? 19-7 is a pretty good start.
Yeah, but they're only 2 games ahead of the Yankees, so all
Who
it
are
takes is
17-9.
all it takes is one bad week, and you've got a flip flop of the division. Yeah, I think. I mean, look at where the Yankees are at 17-9, and look at some of the issues they've had. I mean, your boy Sonny Gray,
my guy,
has not performed this well this year rather, and you look at some of these other situations that they've got. Stanton has struggled. So I mean, when he heats up and they fix some of these other issues, yeah, I think they do. I think they do overtake.
Here's what I'll say about the Yankees. So Sonny Gray, falling back up, New York's not for everybody.
No.
Okay, Randy Johnson went to pitch in New York and couldn't do it. But Sonny Gray, he has had a couple of times throughout his career where he hasn't had his stuff and he hasn't been right, and he gets whacked around a little bit, and then he's had some other dominant stretches, but I think he's going to be just fine in New York. Giancarlo Stanton's a Southern California boy who's played his career in Miami.
236, 5 homers, 15 RBIs, 39 strikeouts in 26 games.
Who then went to the cold weather in the snow, which you and I both have spent a lot of significant time in the snow. That's unique, right? So I don't know. I think they're going to turn it around. There's a lot of pressure, if you will, on Stanton to perform with that contract, let alone in New York. So we'll see.
Think of all the guys so far in the American League, and I'm gonna throw this name out there once I give you the stats as perhaps the best season that no one's talking about.
All right.
330 batting average, 7 homers, 18 runs driven in, and an OPS of 1,072 or 1.072.
JD Martinez?
Aaron Judge.
Kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. How's Aaron Judge? No one talks about Aaron Judge with 24 walks and 26 games and 36 Ks. But I mean, no one talks about Aaron Judge.
No one's talking about Aaron Judge because of Stanton, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's got to be.
So I mean, you look at this. I think they're a better team.
The Yankees?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a better team than they were last year. If you look at this league,
Gary Sanchez also.
Forgotten.
Gary Sanchez right now. Gary Sanchez is hitting 207.
Yeah, and he's a guy that's obviously done some damage.
So, yes, I think once they hit their stride, I think the Yankees will overtake. Hey, did you see Carlos Correa's Instagram post? Carlos Correa's Instagram post, he showed his dog eating a home run ball, his new puppy or new dog here. Mm-hmm. And I've got to double check, but I'm not sure if he mentioned what the significance of the ball was.
Well, he doesn't have it anymore. Right? So let's hope it wasn't too significant, but it's the ball has been altered. I think that's probably safe.
Anything that an animal has eaten of yours because I clearly remember one thing when I was a kid.
My homework?
Other than your homework, I had a Cal Ripken Cal Ripken rookie card, 1982, and I still can remember my dog looking underneath the couch and seeing it in pieces because the dog ate the rookie card.
Ouch.
Now, back then, I was really upset about it.
Right.
Now it's worth about $20, but I was also upset because the dog ate my Hubie Brooks 1982 Hubie Brooks card because I was a huge Mets fan.
Yeah.
So those are two things. Immediately when I see a dog eating something, I go back to my childhood.
Baseball cards.
And seeing that my dog ate my baseball card, but
my dog chewed my glove one time.
Okay.
And it was I had to go play that day, and I was about 13, I think, and my dog chewed the glove, but we got through it. I guess. I guess I got through it.
The dog has its own Instagram page, by the way.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I'm not
Come
kidding
on.
you. I'm not kidding you. So that's one thing that's also seemed to be very encouraging from the week prior was Kenny Giles.
Yeah.
Kenny Giles in that game against the Angels had a really shut down ninth inning, and that was something that 4 days ago retired Albert Pujols on a line out to close out a perfect ninth inning. And certainly that is something that this team, I know that they're doing the bullpen by committee, but the way Ken Giles and I think more so the attitude of the
Sure.
fans toward Ken Giles. I think that's something that is really encouraging, to say the least.
Do you feel like the fans in Houston,
Okay.
after winning their first World Series ever, do you feel like their expectations are to win another one?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
In one word, yes. And I think that goes along the lines of what we talked about at the beginning of this was, does this feel like a team that is 18-10 or is playing its best baseball? And I don't want to affix a letter grade to how they're doing right now.
I will.
Okay, go ahead.
B.
B? I'd say B+.
Okay.
B+, A-.
So this team to win the World Series, they have to play A baseball. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, not always A+, because that's just about being hot, right? But A baseball the rest of the way. If they're playing B baseball and they're at a 643 win percentage,
you can punch the ticket to the playoffs right now.
You would think so, as long as everybody stays healthy. Here's my question for you. Okay, question for you: Where do they need help? Do they need help somewhere? Because obviously, right now we're letting guys play, right? We're letting guys play, and we're figuring out.
They need a lefty arm in the pen.
So Tony Sipp's not going to get it done for you.
No.
Okay. All right. So you need a bullpen help, a left-hander.
And even with or without Tony Sipp, I still think they need a left-hander.
I wouldn't argue that at all. I think you need a guy to beat up on back. No, sorry, Tony. A guy to beat up on back there. The guy's going to eat up some innings for you, and Tony's going to do that. And I'm with you. You need somebody that can go get it, a dominant reliever.
And you've been mentioning catcher all along.
I just, they're doing it right now through a month, and if they get through this year, that's fine. But it's either, McCann's on the downside, and Stassi we'll call it on the upside, but he's not your 160. The league's going to figure you out, and I don't think Max Stassi is your guy every day. I just don't see it.
Our last podcast, episode 2, season 1, we mentioned players or a player that we thought could be in play for the Astros at number 28. Since we have recorded that podcast, Baseball America has come out with its first mock draft. And in that mock draft, they have our guy, Grayson Rodriguez, who we brought up. They have him going number 15 overall. So certainly at 15 overall, that means Grayson Rodriguez does not even sniff the Astros at 28. Also, another mock draft had him at 27 going to the Washington Nationals.
Right ahead of, yeah.
I think that came out the day after we recorded our podcast. So my question is to you, because we thought that Grayson Rodriguez would be a guy.
Absolutely.
No? Not anymore?
I
No chance?
I still think he fits there. But
Okay.
I've talked to Carlos Collazo, Baseball America. I've talked to him a little bit, and Carlos loves Grayson. He loves Grayson. Everything he's heard about, everything he's seen, he loves Grayson. I'd be surprised if he pitched himself into those teens. I've been wrong before, but I think he still fits in the back of the first round. Look, if Grayson goes in the teens, it's 98 with a good breaking ball. He's 6'5" and 230 pounds. Okay, he's not all that dissimilar from Michael Wacha. Okay, he's really not. If you're really going to break it a little bigger, he's not all that dissimilar from Michael Wacha. I remember the first time I saw Wacha pitch, and it was at Baylor as a freshman, pitching for A&M, and he came out and nobody knew who this kid was for some reason, and it was 94 7 pitches in a row, and I was like, who's this guy? Right? And so Grayson's kind of got that effect on you. It's something where he could fit there. I think he fits in the back of the draft, though. Back of the first round.
Back of the first round.
Yeah.
One guy that you had floated a name to me is Tanner Dodson.
Yeah, Tanner's one of the more intriguing athletes in the draft. He's coming out of the bullpen for Cal.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, he's a Northern California kid, and the report you're looking at is a 2015 report. He matched up against Nick Madrigal, who's also a very good
Madrigal player. Is one of those guys that will definitely be in the top 10, may not last out of the top 5.
Absolutely. Nick's a gamer.
Oregon State, second baseman.
Absolutely. Gamer, can hit, steal bases, USA baseball, gold medalist several times over. But Dodson's an intriguing athlete. Dodson is a lot athleticism like Sonny Gray was in high school, but it's a different type of arm.
But this isn't a guy first round for you. He's not a first rounder?
It just depends what you want. At 28, I still wouldn't take him at 28, but I'd look right after. Like, he's a second-round guy, sandwich type guy, and if you're going to go get some pitching, let's say, this is a guy that's also a quick mover to the big leagues.
Fast, and this report is from high school?
From high school, yeah.
Fast arm, easy 93, more in there, can get more now. You had a fastball. Again, we work on the 20-80 scouting scale in scouting circles, 20 being no value, essentially, and 80 being Hall of Fame player, top 5% of the game.
Right.
So you had future fastball 65 for Dodson. This was 2015. Present 60. Curveball 40 on both. Curveball control 40. Slider 55. Hard tilt. Depth inconsistent. And but he's certainly
he's the type of guy you take out of high school.
He reminds you of Jared Cozart
from Houston, who's a League City kid. But anyway, Clear Lake.
Okay.
If you're throwing 95 in high school, that type of athleticism, and you have two breaking balls, usually they run together. This kid has a slider. That's his pitch. It's a separator. He's come out and he's been dominant in the role that he's in. If we take him in high school, he's 5 years of the big leagues. All right. Now that he went to college.
No more than 3.
No more
if
than 3.
If everything goes
and
to
if
plan.
he's a reliever, which is probably where he fits, then he's a fast mover. And you're looking at him being somebody could help this club, believe it or not, in September or in October.
Well, we've seen it. I mean, Finnegan, right, with the Royals.
Brandon Finnegan, Houston Street, some time ago. I mean, guys will do that. They'll take him and they'll bring him to the big leagues. And the Dodgers had a kid out of Florida a couple years ago. I mean, they do it that way sometimes if the guy's ready to go. And this is a kid that if the team has help, needs some bullpen help, this is a fast arm with a heavy ball, with a breaking ball to protect it, whose dad is a former pro, Bo Dodson. Okay?
Oh, yes.
So if you have this type of kid's kind of been bred for this a little bit, and he's fearless, and he's pitched on the big stage, and he's available in the second round, you take this kid and rush him.
Right now, Tanner Dodson 1-0 at Cal for the Bears. 10 saves, 15 appearances, 31 innings pitched, 26 hits. He struck out 26. So, yeah, I mean, that certainly is a name for everyone to remember. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of the podcast is when we go back into the Wayback Machine and we and we look at past scouting reports that Jeremy has filed. This one is from 2014. There it is. I had to condense it. Rhys Hopkins.
Yeah, he's all right.
Philadelphia Phillies.
He's okay.
You saw him May of 2014. You saw him a total of 7 games, 33 at-bats. And based on this, I think you liked him.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I was a fan. I saw him the summer before in the Cape Cod League. He was playing for Falmouth. I saw him there in the Cape, and it wasn't pretty, but he just hit. All he did was hit. And since I had made a mistake as a younger scout on a player from Texas.
And that's who the comp is.
Yes, sir.
The comp is – well, go ahead.
All right, so I made a mistake on a player, and part of scouting is making mistakes. If you're going to scout for real, you're going to miss. You're going to make mistakes, and it's not about just the obvious. You have to get deeper than what you see.
Sure.
And as a young scout, there's one player I couldn't figure out, which we talked about last time, was Paul Goldschmidt.
Yep.
Okay? This time around, I wasn't missing that. And Rhys Hoskins reminded me of Paul Goldschmidt, and the things that he did and how he hit in the minor leagues and how he was going to move forward seemed to have make that look pretty consistent.
If you hadn't seen Paul Goldschmidt, would this review have been or this report been as glowing?
No, and I think Hoskins went in the fifth round.
I think you're about right. I actually saw him his first summer in pro ball.
What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the reputation I knew. I saw him in the New York Penn League when he was. I was in Brooklyn and I took in a Cyclones game and he was there. 5th round, 142 overall.
Yeah, I remember screaming for him in the draft room because I had him in the second round. And we got past the second round, and I was like, okay, this guy can hit. He can really hit. Let's get him. Let's take him, right? Sacramento State kid, easy to sign, wanted to play. Been around pro guys all his life, knew the game was advanced feel, and after watching him all season, you could see he was going to hit. Phillies took him in the 5th, and the rest is history.
Let me read your summary. This is from the Seattle Mariners report here.
Yeah.
Regular first baseman in major league role, power over hit approach with more to come, must drive the baseball, produce runs to have value, stays in the middle of the field and inside the ball well, loses his backside and his base at times, fixable issue, limited to a corner, handles first base, left field well enough, not to be a liability, needs work at first, getting his top half to work together with his bottom half. You said Paul Goldschmidt. You said ETA 2018. He beat you.
He did. He got there early.
He got there early, and boy, did he arrive with a bang. Raw power, 65 in the future. He had him present, 60, 65, all field strength. Enough carry from first base in terms of arm strength, which, again, at first base, who cares? But hitting ability, 50 present, 55 future, stays in the middle of the field, strength, flat path, okay balance. This is interesting. The area scout Can I mention who the area scout was?
Absolutely.
Stacy Pettis, who is, of course, the brother of Gary Pettis, who is the Astros third base coach, who is now the father of an NFL draft pick, as Dante Pettis was picked by the Niners. So overall, you liked this kid.
You know, Stacy really liked him. I gave Stacy some credit. Stacy's with the Cardinals now. Stacy really liked him, and unfortunately didn't work out in the draft to get him, but this kid could do is hit. I mean, he could just hit. And anytime you're talking about a corner bat, you need to have one that produces and is going to profile, because the defense is secondary. And he is somebody who has absolutely done that. And he's played left field. Played left field for the Phillies, right? So last year he did. How many home runs did he get last year? And it was quick. Right?
Scroll down there.
It was a bunch. So in
Scroll down more.
2017.
He had 18 in 50 games.
All right, so 18 in 50 games. So this year he's played 26. He's got 4 home runs this year. He's hitting better average, 333, less strikeouts, less walks, and his bats are roughly half. So it's more consistent contact, right? Better average, better numbers all the way around. I would think for where he is right now, maybe he doesn't hit 40, maybe he hits 40, maybe it's 30. But if he goes out and he hits 330 with 30 home runs, he's an all-star.
Mariners would have liked that guy. They could have
Mariners
used
would have liked
him.
a lot of guys. But yes, he was one that.
But everybody misses, so I'm not. We're not coming down hard on any particular organization. So.
Okay, we're not. But Reese Hoskins would have been good as a West Coast guy. Just saying.
Sacramento State.
Just saying.
All right. Anything else you want to cover?
I don't know. I think we've got it kind of taken down here a little bit. I just it's the divisions are shaping up the way we want them to, or what we thought we would, and this Astros team has a chance to be scary. They should start stomping away with the division, start playing together.
Yeah, so we have they have the Yankees here, because this was the part of a long homestand.
Right. After the road trip of 7 or 6?
Yeah,
7.
which, boy, that road trip went just as planned. 6-1.
Yep.
They'll take that every time out. So you've got the Astros and then Yankees, and then they're off to, speak of the devil, Paul Goldschmidt. They're going to be playing the Diamondbacks. In Arizona. And then trip to the A's. And, boy, that A's team.
So what do you got?
I think Jed Lowry.
Yeah, former Astro.
Jed Lowry.
Yeah, former Astro.
Putting together a great first month.
Is he a guy that comes back here?
I don't know.
Where does he play?
That's the thing. I think right now you can never have – I think we've seen, and especially the way AJ's managing and teams, the Dodgers, bullpen help. I still think a bullpen arm is what they're going to –
At this point, I think you called that one early. I would say you're right. I still think long-term is catcher.
Sure.
But I think you're right for right now. I think it's got to be a bullpen arm or maybe somebody in the draft that's a quick mover. Here's my question. Where's the help in the system? We talked about Bukauskas last week, right? Is he a potential bullpen arm help?
Not this year. I think if you're gonna, I think unfortunately they're not lefties, but I think the first guys up would be certainly Martez.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I think Hoyt.
Okay.
Since he's, and I know that AJ during spring training, because I was sitting right there. Armenteros.
Okay, I can't disagree with any of that. There's options in the system. Do you trust those guys?
I think you trust Martez, don't you?
Yeah, I think I trust Martez. You trust Hoyt?
I trust Hoyt, I think.
All right.
Hoyt's a great story, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, indie ball and everything.
Yeah, no, there's
and I think they like Armenteros, the way he keeps the ball down. I think that's somebody. I mean, AJ said he's a guy he's gonna pitch in the big leagues this year.
You know, if they got help in the system, it makes sense to channel it there because the bullpen's volatile.
Yeah.
It's always going to be volatile. I mean, if you thought Ken Giles would have a meltdown that he had last year, I didn't.
No.
You know? So,
Paulino's another name.
There you go. So they got 4 options. They got 4 guys that can help. You know, those are options that'll help in the system right now.
Buddy Boshears is down there as a lefty, but he's kind of a spare part, right?
Yeah.
I mean –
yeah, and Brady Rogers isn't back yet, and he's more of a filler right now as a starter type or a long man out of the bullpen. So, you know, the 4 or 5 or 6 guys they would have depth-wise, there's going to be different, you know, variations of where they go. Martez is probably your first, Hoyt's probably your second, and then, you know, you said Armenteros, right?
Armenteros,
that's your third. So those are your guys. And
Armenteros not off to he's had an up and down. Hoyt's been pretty good. I mean, 7 strikeouts in 5 innings pitched. has allowed only 1 earned run in 5 games.
It's not bad.
No.
It's not bad. The help is there, you know. But again, the help's at the upper levels. And Tucker's in Fresno too, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
How soon? Okay, so we've talked about it last time. Does he take Fisher's spot for you? I'm going to keep asking week to week because
at this point, no. I think at this point, no. And now, if those guys continue to struggle, Jake and Derek, Derek's had a 2-homer week, so I think at this point, no. But down the line, probably.
See, and the funny thing, he's a left-handed bat, but I would, if for me, he comes up here, he takes Marisnick's job. Okay, now I know it doesn't necessarily balance it out, but as far as the at-bats, the timing, you know, now as far as balancing the lineup, he would take Fisher's job, left to left, right? But for at-bats, if Tucker comes to the big leagues, he plays every day. Has to play every day.
Sure,
right?
without a doubt.
So he plays center field?
I don't know. I haven't seen him enough. I don't think he's a center fielder.
I don't think so either. So we have to that puts Springer in center, and what do you got?
Questions.
Absolutely.
All right. That is another episode of Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth. As always, please leave your comments. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you want to hear, and let us know if there's a scouting report perhaps that Jeremy has. And I printed out there. It's like 250 pages.
That was one year. That was 1 year.
And again, let us know. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth, and we'll see you next time. We'll talk to you later, everybody.